Three, two, one.
Hi guys, I hope everybody's having a great Saturday. I've been looking forward to today because we've got, we're doing something Christmassy and I love Christmassy, so we're going to have a bit of fun. What's on my agenda for this week? Oh, what isn't on my agenda for this week? I have a ton of new stuff on the website, thanks to my pal Deb and my friend Karen out at Southern Ridge Trading. So there's oodles of stuff up on the website. One of the things that I got in this week that I'm really excited about is the surface for our project for next Saturday. He is stinking cute. I got to tell you, he's stinking cute. And it's this one. So next Saturday, we're going to be doing a set of these ornaments. This is the Little Santa. I love this guy. It's a fun technique. He's really easy to do. And I thought we'd just do something that's a little more relaxing and something we can play with when it comes to color. So we're going to do some variations on this little guy. Your pattern will be up on probably tomorrow afternoon. He's just so much fun to paint. I just had a blast doing it. So the surface is up on the website. And it's this little guy. They're really cute. They're about $6.50 a piece, I think they are. My pal Deb will also have them up on her website, so you'll be able to find them. And if you're looking for more snowflakes, we do have some in stock. Actually, have quite a few in stock. But we also, you can get them through Southern Ridge Trading, which is at chipboard.ca. So you can find all those snowflakes there. And I believe that Deb has them up on her website as well. So we've got this fun little surface. I think he's really quirky and kind of fun. And he's just a blast to paint. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this next Saturday. A nice, relaxing, fun day and another Christmas ornament. And then we're going to move out of that and go into some fall stuff because I've got a really fun project for you for the following week. You're going to love it. My pal Deb, as if you've been following her at all on social media, her renovation is done. Her new studio is just about ready. She's starting to move some stuff into it, and her new toy is going to be hooked up and ready to go by the weekend. So she's pretty excited about it. I'm really excited for her because this is a big deal. She has been waiting over a year for all of this to happen, so she's really excited about it. And I'm excited because she's going to have so much fun playing with her new toys. And speaking of new toys, I got new toys. My buttons came in this week. We got these the other day. I'm excited. And of course, I put mine on upside down. At least I can read it that way. So we got these great little buttons. Neatness doesn't count. Perfection is to be avoided at all costs. We got a ton of those in. Those are going to be going in some of your orders. We do have them available on the website, but we are going to be tucking them into orders that are over a certain amount. So if you've been looking for one of these, they're super fun. You can snuck that in there, right? We also added a new giveaway thing that we tuck into your orders. We added the little gingerbread cookie pin. Of course, mine is a voodoo doll. And if you haven't seen it, there's a video on how to paint these little voodoo dolls, either as an ornament or as the pin. I've done them both ways. You can find that on the YouTube channel. I also posted it on the Facebook page, so you'll be able to watch it there. And the pattern for them is a free download, and that's available in the free download section on my website. So if you get a minute, go and check it out. And throw us a like. We would love that. And if you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the big red subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you get notified whenever we post new video. And what else? What else? Oh yeah, giveaways. This week we've got a really great giveaway for you. It's got a nice little stencil in it. It's got a nice little, I believe it's a Craftgasm bag this time around. And we have a beautiful Dynasty Stencil Pro stencil brush for 3 of you. So it's quite the little goodie bag that 3 of you are getting today, courtesy of Dynasty Brush and myself. And there's a few other little odds and sods in there because, you know, I can't send out something with just one thing in it. It doesn't work that way. As Renee can attest.
Yeah, no.
I like to make sure you guys have little goodies in there. So the other thing we got in this week was the little paint splotch buttons. Those are also going out in orders this week too. So I've had entirely too much fun loading a whole bunch of new stuff onto the site this week. And I've also had entirely too much fun painting some of that new stuff because I got some really cute surfaces coming. I cannot wait until they get here. They should be here Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe Thursday. They won't be that long. So I'm excited about that. So today we're going to be painting this fun little teacup. We did get some more in stock, but they seem to be going out just as fast as they come in. So I did place another order, so those should be in by midweek too. So I just can't seem to keep up with these teacups. As fast as we get them in, they're gone. So, and the other thing I have ordered that should be here on Monday, as a matter of fact, I checked the tracking, it should be here Monday, is the gingerbread cookies. So I got a bunch of those in this week too. So it's been really hard to keep up with all of you guys. So I hopefully have a look around the website. A couple of things are set for back order. I don't usually do that unless I know I have them coming. So some of the things are set for back order. So if you really need them, you want to reserve one, that's the best way to do it. So today we're going to paint a star cookie, and I'm going to show you how to paint
chicken
those.
Surface? What
Pardon me?
chicken surface?
Oh yes, the chicken surface. We got a bunch of these. They're super cute. I have a new pattern coming up. Where's my chicken? There's my chicken. I have a new pattern coming up that's a series of, it's called Farmyard Christmas.
That's a fat chicken.
Isn't that a fat chicken? That's a broody hen. So it's called Farmyard Christmas. And it's essentially a bunch of farm animals. So I have a pig, little piglet, and the chicken, and so we have a sheep. And so there's 3 ornaments in the pattern. I just think they're cute. I love this kind of cute primitive chicken or primitive Christmas stuff. I like it.
Primitive?
Primitive, yes. That's the style they're painted in. Of course, I had to make it a little bit more mixed media. So I've used newsprint and some fun colors and, of course, a gel pen. And I had to throw a snowflake in there because that's just me. So, yes, we do have the chickens, and we got the sheep, and we got the pig. So watch for that pattern this week because I've had entirely too much fun painting farm animals this week. I love the pig. The pig is too stinking cute.
Is it a fat pig?
It is a fat pig.
Okay.
Yes. This is the
Is
best
he so
kind.
fat that his legs don't touch the ground?
No, they touch the ground.
Okay.
He's only got 2 of them. Oops. Okay, he's not glued together, so I won't put him up there.
Jessica Killen's birthday tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. So we have to wish Jessica a happy birthday.
Absolutely.
So we're going to...
Says Jessica.
Yeah. Well, I did my hair this morning, and it's extremely humid today. As you can tell, it just, I don't know why I bought a flat iron. It's a waste of time. I flat ironed it, and then it just went whichever way.
I'm telling you.
Shave it. I've been tempted. Believe me. I have been tempted.
Best way to deal with your hair is get rid of it.
I suppose so.
Yeah, says the guy with the beard.
Yeah. Yours just moved from the top of your head to your face. That's all.
It retreated.
And just be grateful that it stopped there.
It's starting to go down.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you are ready to get started painting this peppermint tea and cookies, so am I.
Tea and cookies. That one. There we go.
Oh. This one is he is a lot of fun to paint. There's a fair amount going on, but it's a lot of fun to paint. But I wanted to walk you through how I base coated this piece because it's...
Is there glitter on that?
Of course there is. What's wrong with you? You see? Sparkles.
Why is there glitter? Why must there be glitter?
There must be glitter. It's a Christmas thing. Sparkly. So the colors that I used for this, pretty straightforward. Warm white is the white that we used for the teacup. And I took warm white, painted the whole teacup warm white. And then I used a little bit of painter's tape. And I taped off alternating stripes. So you can take the line drawing and transfer it on there and then just tape it off as you go. Once that's down all the way across, I put a light coat of matte medium over the edges of the tape. And that just acts as a barrier, so it seals the edge of the tape, and that way we get these nice crisp straight lines. You don't get any bleeding underneath. So then you can just put down 2 coats festive green on those alternating stripes, and then carefully remove the tape. So you end up with these nice diagonal stripes. Now, I had a lovely lady message me and said that the the photograph here does not match the line drawing. The handle is on the other side in the line drawing. It's a simple matter. Just cut the handle off the line drawing. And that way it fits regardless. It doesn't matter which way it goes, quite honestly, because it's fairly busy. So you just cut the handle off and tape it in place regardless. So you can do it either way. It doesn't matter.
It's a mirrored image, isn't it?
It is.
Nah.
It's more than just a hat rack.
Not just looks.
Yeah, I'm not just a pretty face, thank God.
Not just a pretty face.
So-
Raffin heard you and listening instead of snoozing. Hi, Raffin. Go get your ball. Go get your ball. Or tug.
Or tug, yeah. So I'm going to put some graphite down underneath my line drawing. And I have a shape maker here somewhere. I like my shape maker for a couple of reasons. It just makes making these circles perfect a whole lot easier. So I'm going to grab my red gel pen and I'm going to trace the circle, and then I'm going to trace the stripes. And having that circle maker just makes it so much simpler. Whoops, it moved. To put the... Now what?
Debbie Daniker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, he just ran down the stairs. If he brings back a toy.
Raffin's a beautiful dog.
I'd love to meet Raffin.
So I put the first of my submissions in for Chattanooga the day before yesterday.
Ooh.
And Robin Storm is registered. I can't wait to hug the stuffing out of that girl. I am so looking forward to meeting Robin Storm. For the last 3 years, we've been painting together. We've been giggling and laughing, and
We don't know the faces.
which I am so excited about seeing all of these people. It just, to put a face, a real face, not just a Facebook face, but a real face. I'm excited about it. So I'm hoping.
Do we have a time frame for Chattanooga?
Chattanooga is in June.
June 2024?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Still gives me time.
Yes, it does. So.
That's if they give me a day pass.
If they give you a day pass. I don't know, the insane asylum is pretty strict about those things. I suppose I should be grateful it's not prison. So I'm pretty excited about Chattanooga. It will be so much fun to meet a bunch of these peeps in person. Gonna hug the stuffing out of Robin's dorm.
Patrick's got a great question.
Oh, good.
Do you need to bring all your own stuff, or does the artist you book your class with provide all you need?
Generally, when you do these conventions, bring your own brushes, your basic painting supplies. Mostly everything else is provided, surface, paints, any stencils, and etc. But your basic painting supplies is all you really need. Anything other than that is generally provided. Not to mention that anything you do find yourself requiring is usually available on the trade floors. So,
does anyone know where we are with the glitter fund?
Yeah.
$4,053.81.
Yep.
You guys are awesome, by the way.
Yeah. My husband made a run out to the SPCA, our local shelter, this morning, and dropped off a case of cat food and a couple of big bins of scoopable kitty litter because they've had so many kittens at our local shelter. Okay, so look at that. I have candies. I have candies, and I have holly.
Holly.
So there we go. This is just such a fun project.
Yeah. Raffin brought up a toy.
Did he? That's hilarious. So I'm going to use a rigger, and I'm going to put a little bit of warm white on my cookie here, on these candies. Just fill in where that green is so that we have a nice round candy. I'm just filling in where the white areas would be, in between those stripes.
What convention is in Chattanooga?
It is the Art and Craft Expo. It's put on by Viking Woodcrafts and Painting World magazine. And we're pretty excited. I think it's going to be an excellent show. I've got a couple of submissions already done and submitted, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they get selected.
Cutesy cutesy? Is that what the submissions were?
Pardon me?
Were they cutesy footsy kind of submissions, or
No.
No? A bit more technical?
Well, yes and no, a little bit, but you know.
But teachable.
But teachable, yep. I'm trying to keep it so that there's a variety, so I'm not necessarily repeating a lot of stuff, so it's going to be fun. I'm trying to keep them at about the beginner to intermediate. Beginner, intermediate. I do have plans for one advanced piece, but we shall see.
Are we allowed to stream?
Pardon me?
If we do the Chattanooga thing, can we stream it live, or is that a no-no?
In the classes, no, they cannot be streamed.
Can we do like short clips?
We can do short clips, but we
Okay.
cannot stream. We can, however, go live from our booth
Hey!
on the trade floor, which is always fun. And we can go live from the make and takes.
Hey, there we go.
So, but no, in classrooms, no, we cannot.
Fair enough.
Yep. So now, all I did was just paint in the white areas on those candies where the green is. Now the color that I used for the stripes on these candies, is a color that I have skipped over so many times, and I've suddenly discovered just what a wonderful color it is. It's wild berry. It's not quite red, not quite pink. It's in that, I don't know, it's just a really nice red, and ideal for Christmas, I think. I'm quite excited about it. So I am using that to paint in those stripes on the candies. The other nice thing is that it's actually pretty opaque. It covers quite well. So I'm just using a number 2 rigger, or 0, I think this is a 2, to paint in those stripes. And as I said, it covers quite well, so we'll see how it covers the green. Not very well. But that's no great surprise. We will fix that. Great color, this wild berry. And it shades and highlights really, really nicely with alizarin crimson, which is what we're going to use. So we're using that really transparent, almost jewel tone to deepen this red. And it works very nicely. So, and we got a ton of those butterflies in. The little pin kits are back in. And I've been having way too much fun with that. And way too much fun with that resin, that UV resin. That is just a hoot and a half to play with. I'm not seeing any chat. Here we go.
No country red?
Not today. No, I wanted a different look with the country red. The cookie is bubblegum pink, so country red is sort of in the wrong tone for that. So that's why I chose to go with this wild berry. It was more in keeping with that bubblegum pink, but it's also the color I used to shade that bubblegum pink. So it ties the whole design together, brings that color scheme into balance. Great color. And then while I've got this wild berry out, I'm going to base coat my holly berries with it. See, those little holly berries are going to get that color as well. Pretty, pretty, pretty. It's, like I said, it's sort of that halfway between a pink and a red. It's an elegant looking color too. Pairs really nicely with gold. I think this would be a popular Christmas color this year. Or that tone anyway. Easy peasy. Oops. I whoopsied. I have to fix that.
Sandra Jackson
Hello, Sandra.
donated $5.
Thank you. Every little bit helps.
No kidding. Yeah, it's no longer called the Glitter Fund, even though that's exactly what it is.
It,
It's called Christmas for the Puppers. You're awesome, Sandra.
so I had a piece of Happy Mail this week. I got my super color Carandash pencils.
Ah, the ones you actually ordered.
The ones I actually ordered.
Yeah, not the ones that.
I ordered them. I got, instead of the super color, I got the Pablo, which I already had. I had a smaller set of Pablo. And so I sent them back and reordered, and they sent me another set of Pablo. So I was getting a little frustrated. So I decided to see where I could get the super color at a reasonable price. And I found them at Jackson Art. They're based in the UK. I've ordered from them quite a bit, and I've never been disappointed. And I was not disappointed this time either. So I can't wait. And I blame it all on Mark Menendez, just in case he ever watches any of this. It's all his fault that I have super color watercolors. They're water soluble pencils, not a watercolor pencil. So I have to fix the boo-boo that I made. In just a second, I got to finish that one stripe. Good grief. Ever have one of those days where you just can't seem to base coat properly? This is the day. Good heavens. So, there's where I made my little goof. I've got an egg-shaped candy now. So I'm going to put a little bit of warm white and smooth out that edge because I went all over the white. There we go. I like round things to be round, so wherever I've managed to goof up a little bit with the pink, I simply paint over it with a little bit of warm white so that I get a nice clean look. And then I've got a stripe here that I didn't complete. There we go. There we are. So we have little holly leaves here. And these little ones are based with a little bit of lush green. I love this green. Antique green and lush green, I think, are two of my favorites. They have that nice earthy quality. The lush green is a little more opaque than the antique green, a little less yellow. It's a really nice green, and it's a really good substitute for antique green. If you haven't got it, then you can always use lush green. And it shades perfectly with plantation pine or sap green. If you've got the fluid acrylics, sap green works really nicely. I love sap green, and it's just a great dark green. So Renee had to step out for a minute, so okay, I haven't, there we go. What is Aerie up to? What isn't she up to? That kitten is just a going concern. This morning she decided that we have a bathroom on the main floor of the house, and it's right at the same level as the walkway to the backyard. So the lower half of the window is frosted. for privacy, obviously. Ordinarily, on a nice day, the windows are all open and Harry can sit in the window and she watches the chipmunks and whatnot. This morning, however, it's extremely humid, so we have the AC running, and so all the windows are closed. Well, she didn't like that, so they are double hung windows so that they move up and down. So she decided that she was going to sit on the top of that double hung window so that she could see out. Obviously, it's too narrow, so she couldn't stay up there. So she decided to use the curtains in the bathroom as a means of hanging on to the windowsill. Of course, that didn't hold her weight, so the curtain let go, slid off to one side. She went and she took everything that was on the windowsill, including a package of Kleenex, and it all landed in the garbage can, which tipped over and then made a hell of a racket. And then while I was cleaning that up, I hear growling in the next room, and she is tormenting Gizmo. And when she's not tormenting Gizmo, she's getting into something else. She is just the busiest kitten. I mean, she does not stop. I've never seen anything like it. From the minute her eyes open, she just goes. She's very busy. And we're not accustomed to that kind of busy. And we have 2 cats that were over 10 years of age, and she is barely 5 months, and she is just a holy terror. But she's so stinking cute, you can't hold it against her. She has something else. And I keep losing the chat. I'm trying to keep up. Oh. She's the only kitten I've ever seen that plays fetch. So if you throw one of her little toys, she will go get it and then bring it back to you so you can throw it again. She's quite something. As I said, she's a going concern. She's just terrorizing it. Her favorite time for cuddles is 5 a.m. And she comes in and wakes my husband and I up so she can get pets and cuddles and ear scratches and whatnot. The rest of the time, she's too busy. So, and when she sleeps, I keep checking to see if she's still breathing because she sleeps so hard. And when she's down for the count, she's down. But when she's awake, everybody else is too, because she doesn't stop for anything. We have a marmot that has taken up residence under the back deck. And she's fascinated by him. So she sits at the patio door and watches the marmot. And if it's not the marmot, it's the chipmunks. And if it's not the chipmunks, it's the squirrels. So she's just, oh. And she runs from one window to the other when they move around the house. So she's all over the place. And she likes to watch TV. Last night she pressed the communicator button on Captain Kirk's shirt. So she's busy.
Star Trek?
Oh, airy.
Oh.
She cleared off the windowsill today. The kitty litter and the curtains all ended up in the garbage can in the bathroom. She's busy. Very flippin' busy. Okay, I think I'm about ready to do something other than base coating. All right. So we have berries painted. Again, I love this color. It's one of my new favorites. It's just a great base color. It's also a great shading color for your pinks, so it takes on a bit of an earthy. This over vintage pink is gorgeous. It's nice and rich. So I think it falls into that same tonal range. Ooh, goodness. Hot flash. So we're ready to start adding a bit more color to this. So everything is base coated. We're going to be shading. We're going to be shading this festive green with this, which is holly green. They're actually pretty close together. If you look, just one or two values out, not that dark. But it's a great shading color, and it's going to give us a really nice glow to this green. So I'm using a 1/2 inch angled shader, a little bit of water or Joe Sonia's, either one. And we're going to float the outside edge and around the cookie like so.
Karen says keep your hot flashes to yourself.
Oh, is she having one too?
I guess so.
Running joke. Karen and I have known each other for more than 30 years. And we share hot flashes. Usually I cause them and she has one. So we have a running joke about that. So that holly green, it's not a sharp contrast, but it's going to give you a nice little glow in the middle. Just changes the value of that green a little bit. So we get that nice little glow in the middle. Now the holly green is a bit more transparent. Or I should say the festive green is a bit more transparent. And it has a higher yellow content, so it's a bit brighter. This one is a little earthier, but it's still quite transparent. Oops. There we go. But it is a great shading color for that festive green. I gotta deepen this side a little bit. There we go. And come over to this one. There we go. I love this green. It's great for this. Now the handle on this teacup gets the same treatment. So I'm going to just, I call it a fast and dirty float. Don't overthink it. Just put a little bit of color in there on the outside edge and underneath, like so. And you can see that it leaves sort of a more yellow green or lighter value in the center of these stripes. And I'm going to deepen that. And then we're going to take that green on the outside edge here, right to there, because I goofed right there. And right along the bottom. So all around the outside edges of that festive green, you're going to put a float of that holly green. Just like that. Now, I'm going to dry this real quick because I have to fix a little something something. Because I goofed. I'm going to make sure that's good and dry. So I'm going to take my painter's tape and I'm going to put it right there along the bottom top edge of the teacup, and then I'm going to put it right there on the along the foot of the teacup, right there. And just like I did on the stripes, I'm going to take a little bit of matte medium and I'm going to seal the edge of the tape a little bit, like so. Dry that real quick. Because that little foot's supposed to be white and I painted it green. So good time to fix that. So now that the matte medium is dry, I'm going to take a little bit of warm white and base coat the foot of that teacup. Just make sure I get it everywhere. Let's dry it real quick. And I'll put a second coat on because I still seeing some green through there. There we go. It's paint. You can fix anything. So that's nice and dry. Now, when you're removing that tape, keep it low, right on top of itself. 45-degree angle, peel it back. If you pull straight up, you're just going to pull your base color off. And voila. Nice straight lines. So now I can take a little bit of that holly green, now that I've fixed that, and I'll put a float of that holly green all along that line right there. So you can go back in and deepen that if you feel that it's not quite dark enough, which I'm going to do a little bit. I kind of like that little glow. I like this lighter value in the middle. Now you can take a lighter value green, but I'm going to take a little bit of this. A little bit of neon. And I'm going to grab one of my favorite dry brushes, if I can find one. There it is. You can use a small stencil brush for this. You can use Dome Blender. You can use Point Blender. Whatever you like to dry brush with. You're going to pick up a little bit of that neon green. You don't need a ton of it. And you're just going to put a little highlight in the center of those stripes with that neon green. It's going to be subtle. You don't want this to be in your face. It would be a bit much. Look at that.
Apparently there is a dog snoring like a man. That must be Gizmo.
Robin's little guy. Apparently he can fall down, like slide down a flight of stairs without waking up. She posted a video of him sleeping and on the bed it had like that little set of stairs that go down type thing. And yeah, he slid right to the floor.
Didn't wake up.
Didn't wake up.
Is he narcoleptic?
I don't know. He's awfully cute. I will say that.
It is Gizmo.
Who knew?
Snoring like a man.
Pugs, French bulldogs, they all snore.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Brachiophilic.
They're brachiophilic. Okay, I got pink in my dry brush. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't know.
It's Greek for short head.
Ah, okay.
It's the medical term for dogs with flat faces, like bulldogs, Frenchies.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, pugs. It's a technical term.
So that little bit of neon green, I just love the glow that it gives this festive green. It's fun. It's so fun.
Oh, here we go. Patrick. Do you know if we can use a texture paste to mimic whipped cream or snow in 3D?
Yes.
Or is it
Absolutely.
too soft?
No, actually, you can use a little bit of white paint in heavy gel medium. and it'll give you that creamy, buttery look. Just mix it in there. Just make sure that your ratios are fairly small. Start out with them. And yeah, absolutely you can do that. Modeling paste. You can add white paint too. Do that. Depending on what kind of snow you want it to look like. If you want it a little textured. So there we go. Little bit of neon green in the center there. Gives you that nice little glow. In the middle, sort of enhances that vibrancy, which appeals to me big time. I like this. So we have candies. I'm going to grab my angled shader. We're going to add a few highlights in a few places to this cup. I'm going to use a little bit of thinned warm white. I'll just make sure it's not too strong. There we go. And I'm going to put a little float in from the edge, just a little. I'm going to grab my mop brush and soften this a little harsh. There we go.
Dot used to snore.
Gizmo snores.
Gizmo snores.
Our Gizmo snores. So, just a little highlight.
And then there's Airy.
Airy's just busy.
She hasn't quite figured out her meow yet.
No. Nope. She's working on it, though. So there's the little highlight. And we're going to add just a stroke of thinned warm white, and we'll finish out our teacup. We kind of want a slick look. I didn't want to make it too bold, but there we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing in here. And I like to take that bright highlight just in from the edge on the white highlight. It just helps brighten things nicely.
Deb is in Penticton, right?
Yes.
Yeah. She getting any of the smoke from Kelowna?
Yeah, they've been getting smoke.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use this one. This is that chrome marker from Let's Resin. I haven't been able to get my usual deco color, so I bought a set of these. I haven't been able to find just the gold one, but they come in a set of 3 like this for about 18 bucks. I couldn't get the deco pen for 18 bucks, but I got a set of 3. I love the chrome one, which is this silver one, and the copper is a nice finish as well. So I'm using the gold, and I'm going to use the gold to just put my gold trim on my cup. And I gotta tell ya, I love my deco color marker, my gold paint pen. This is an excellent alternative for a couple of reasons. One, it's virtually odorless. You could shove this thing in your nose and it's not going to bother you. It's virtually odorless, which I cannot say for the other gold paint pens that I've been using. Some of them are pretty rank. This one works really nicely. I love the finish. It's a nice bright gold, nice bright metallic. It goes on really nicely. I have no complaints. I've seen so many different gold paint pens over the years. Some worked well, some did not. Some stunk to high heaven. Some were horribly expensive. But this one kind of hits, good notes all the way across. And I got this one on Amazon. I did post the link the other day. Got this one on Amazon.ca. I have not been able to find it on Amazon.com. But I've been very impressed with this pen. High gloss liquid chromium, goes on really, really nicely. And it's the same process. You can shake it, press down to prime it. The color is beautiful. The metallics are gorgeous. and virtually odorless, and they dry in no time. So, you know what? 5 stars all the way across. So I'm going to dry that real quick, and then we're going to finish out our teacup real fast. Look at that. Dry. I love it. Love it. So the color we're going to use next is asphaltum. I know. You're shocked. Asphaltum. My favorite brown. Brown / yellow / do everything color. I love asphaltum. So I'm going to blot my brush because I got way too much water in it. We're going to float around all of the white. Remember how we did that with the dark green on the green? We're going to do the white with the asphaltum. Around your cookies. All the way down. Now, I thin this quite heavily. You don't want this full strength because it'll just bury it. You don't want that. But this little bit of asphaltum is going to lift those candies off the surface quickly. So, there we go. Heavily thinned. Better to work with it heavily thin because then you've got some control over how dark or how light this color gets. You can always make it darker if it's too light. But if you make it too dark, then it's hard to get it to change it without having to get rid of it altogether. So there we go. A little bit of asphaltum all the way around everything. And I'm going to take that asphaltum down here too. I want to shade that white foot right along the top of that pink divider. And I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to deepen it. Just deepen it a little bit all along the edges. I don't know why, but I have had Christmas on the brain for the last few days. And so I am just, my brain is just running over with Christmas ideas. And then as I was playing with that, of course, fall comes in because fall is my favorite season. And I'm obsessed with sunflowers, so I've got a couple of new sunflower designs coming up. I'm just having way too much fun. This is a forgiving process. Very forgiving. So now that everything is, there we go. I'm going to dry that real quick. And we're going to paint some candies. So I have some wonderful little candies on here. And I'm not thrilled with the coverage on a couple of them, but I just touch those up because I can. There we go. So I'm going to use a little bit of alizarin crimson. I know that's not a color that we see often in decorative painting. Some people use it quite frequently, but it's not a color that gets as much use as you would think. It's beautifully transparent, and it's going to work really nicely on our pinks on this wild berry. It's a really beautiful tone on top of that wild berry. So we're going to shade the outside edges of the wild berry with a little bit of alizarin crimson. And because it's such a strong color, we're going to use it a little thin. We're not going to use it full strength because it is quite a strong color, but it's just going to deepen the edge of that pink just a little. It does not need to be full strength, but it does need to actually have paint in the brush. There we go. So, little shadow just at the outside edge, and that little bit of color is going to help make this candy look a bit more spherical, like that. It's a nice rich red, nicely transparent. So all of those stripes are getting that little float at the outside edge. So wherever I've put that wild berry, this is the shading color, is that alizarin crimson. It's a beautiful, beautiful red. And I'm still adding up, adding more of those color pairings. So there's a different butterfly every day, different color pairing every day. So if you're ever looking for a color, and I am compiling a list of all of these, so it'll be available for you in a PDF of which colors you can pair together. Sometimes we overthink things when it comes to shading colors, or we don't think at all. We just sort of go with, okay, that's the shading color they used. There's 101 substitutions, ways that you can adjust. So just because a pattern calls for a specific color doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you have to use. So I have 101 ideas for those types of color pairings. So the list is getting longer every day as I keep trying different color combinations to see how well they work. And then I paint a butterfly. And then I post it so that you guys can see what it actually looks like together. Today's is sort of a peachy color. I combined Coral Cloud, which is a lighter color, coral color, and then shaded it with another coral. It's a nice deep tone, so it looks really nicely. So we have a nice peachy color today. Yesterday we did the Poetic Plum. I love that color.
This Aries got a sunspot.
Oh, she's finally settling down, is she?
She's watching Bob.
She's watching Bob, okay.
Bob the groundhog.
Bob the Marmot. So I'm using that alizarin crimson just to shade that little holly berry right at the bottom. Won't float. It's all good. And then I'm going to use that alizarin crimson to shade the saucer as well. So I'm just switching to a slightly larger angled shader. And I'm going to walk that float out a little. So darkest value towards the tip. Then I'm just going to walk the color out a little bit to about the 1/3 mark. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There we go. So about the 1/3 mark, darkest value to outside edge. I'm going to dry that and then I'm going to do it again. So darkest value, outside edge, walk it in, about 1/3. And I'll do the same thing on the other end. Darkest value to the outside edge, walk it out to about the 1/3. There we go. Perfect. Just the way I wanted it. So we have candies.
Nom noms.
Nom noms. I needed plantation pine.
Plantation pine. Getting low on plantation pine, are
I
you?
am getting low on plantation pine. When you have to shake the bottle that hard to get it out, you know you're in a world of hurt. I gotta get another one out of the cupboard, that's all. So we have these little holly leaves here. We're going to shade the base where it joins the stem with a little bit of plantation pine. And it's just this simple little shadow at the base. Nothing major. Oops. There.
Conversation today is football.
Football. Well, there must be a football game today. Unless it's Texas, then there's a football every day, it seems.
Well, university football's going to be starting up soon.
Yes, that's true. Even our Ironman will be playing soon. I'm not a big football fan. I don't know the first thing about football, so.
Nope.
I know the quarterback and the tight end. That's it.
What's for supper?
We are having souvlaki.
Souvlaki.
Yes, grilled pork tenderloin, done Greek style.
Yum. Souvlaki.
A great marinade. I have such a good recipe for a marinade for souvlaki. So I've got that little shadow in at the base. I'm going to take a little bit of that neon green that we used for the highlights in the center of these stripes. And I'm going to put a little highlight just out at the tip of these leaves. It's not a super bright highlight. It's just a little bit. You'll see why in a minute. I'm not worrying about the highlights on these leaves because I have a pretty substantial highlight that goes on afterwards. So there we
Football
go.
not popular in Canada.
Well,
Not
some
as
people.
much in the States.
Certainly, yeah. Our season is short for football, very short.
Yep.
Um,
Bigger fields, less people.
yeah, bigger fields, less players. I wouldn't be able to tell you if it's more competitive or less competitive. I have no idea. But you're talking about a country that gets 2-3 feet of snow in October, so it's hard to play hard to play football in that. So it's just a slight highlight. I like the neon green because then it ties it to this. Gives a little bit of elevation. Dry that really well. And I'm going to grab a little bit of warm white and a little touch of the same paint that we're using in our cookie. And we're going to put a highlight at the top of our saucer. Now that highlight is going to run along the bottom and that remaining 1/3. Just like so. Just let it run out. There we go. There's that little highlight on the saucer, and we're going to add just a stroke of warm white just to pop that a little bit. It does not have to be perfect or even straight. It's just a little broken line along the edge, just slightly below where you put the float.
Canadians, we take 3 sports very seriously.
Yeah.
Hockey, lacrosse, and rugby.
More and more soccer. Hockey still comes first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to break out my liner brush because we're going to finish off this little holly. And these are super simple. I'm going to grab my small angled shader. A little bit of warm white. And we're going to give this just a little float of warm white at the top of the berry. Just a little heavily thinned float of warm white at the top of each of those berries. Super simple. And then we're going to use either a liner or a rigger. We're going to give them a little dot of white on that white highlight. We have a berry. I gotta find my liner. Where is my liner? There it is. Now I'm going to thin out a little bit of that neon green. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of warm white to make a very bright neon green. A very opaque neon green. Just need that little bit of white in there to make it a bit more opaque. And we're going to put a little stroke of that bright green right on the edge of those leaves. And that's also going to be our stem color. And this is what's going to make our little holly leaf stand out. It's that little bit of bright green.
You've never seen a hockey game.
What's that?
Deb Bloomfield. Never seen a hockey game?
Well, I know it's foreign to us because we grew up with it, but
Yeah.
you know. I've been to live hockey games.
Yeah.
I've never been to a football game.
I have. Not an NFL game, but
No, I've never even been to a university or college football game.
really.
Yeah. Football is not. I can honestly say I don't think I've even sat through a whole one on a TV, like watching it on TV. I just don't know anything about football, so.
Neither do I.
The only sport that I know less about is golf. Swimming, no problem. Diving, no problem. Gymnastics, no problem. Football, got nothing.
Nothing.
So we have all those little holly leaves done. Now we're going to focus on those candies because these are going to be fast. And they're going to be so fun. So we need a little bit of Prussian blue. I love Prussian blue for this because of its transparency. And it is slightly gray when you put it over top of this warm white, which gives it a really nice look. So we're going to thin this color out a bit because it's very strong. But it's such a luscious blue. And we're going to shade the back side of these cookies. I like to keep the whole chisel edge of the brush on the surface, and going to start at the bottom of the candy and come to the top. Bottom of the candy, pull the float all the way around till you get to the top of the candy. Prussian blue. It is such a great shading color for things like candies. You've seen me use this for candy canes and whatnot, but it's just, it works so well that why would you use anything else if you don't have to? So Prussian blue, look at that. Gives you such a great tone. And it works so well. It's going to give us nice round candies. So we have nice shading. And now we have to highlight these candies. We're going to use that warm white. Again, you're going to load the brush as if to float, because that's what you're going to do. How the heck did I do that? Put my arm in the asphaltum. So the highlight on these candies is going to come in about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And you're going to start at the top of the candy and come around to the bottom. 1/8 of an inch from the edge, come around to the bottom. I'm running out of white. There we go.
My sport of choice was paintball.
Yes. Paintball, roller skating, not roller skating. Yeah, you had
Oh, yeah.
roller blades.
I still have them.
Yeah.
They still fit.
Rollerblading, skateboarding. Not so much the skateboarding. They only did that for a little while. Then you found some other means of, endangering your life.
Military.
Yeah, the military.
Not a sport.
No.
Nope. Rollerblading, paintball.
Yep. So now we have nice, round, robust candies. We have to give them nice little highlights. So I'm going to use a liner instead of that rigger. And it's kind of a small comma stroke. I'm going to get that nice. And again, I come in slightly from the edge of that highlight. It's going to give us a nice slick look. You could do just a straight line if you wanted to, or a curved line around it. I kind of like the comma stroke. It just gives it a teardrop shape that gives it that look of being shiny. And there we go. We have nice round candies. And make sure this is good and dry. And then we're going to add a little bit of shading underneath the lip of our cup with a little bit of asphaltum. Just because I like to deepen things. So I'm going to go all the way across the top, underneath the lip, underneath that gold border with a float of asphaltum. And you can deepen shadows around those candies if you like. If you feel they're not quite giving you enough contrast, don't be afraid to deepen them. There we go. So now we're going to spatter this with a little bit of color. I'm going to use my fugly brush because I have them and I can. I'm going to use a little bit of thinned warm white. I like spatter for this kind of thing. It just makes things a little more festive. I mean, by all means, you could use glitter if you wanted to. But I kind of like using the white. Spatter everything.
What liner were you using for the candy highlights?
I'm using a 10-aught extra long detail liner. There we go. Now, I used 3 little wooden snowflakes because I'm obsessed with little wooden snowflakes. These little ones here, we do have them in a pack of 6. So you get 3 of these and then you get 3 of the bigger ones. I'm not adverse to using a combination of the two, or just using the small ones. I kind of like the small ones. However, I wanted to show you that there's an alternative. So if you don't have or can't find the little wooden ones, you can also use the snowflake stencil. And I'm only using 3 of them, so you don't need to have them everywhere. So I'm going to use a small stencil brush and a little bit of warm white. The other thing you can do is, I'm going to use a little bit of warm white. I'm just trying to decide where to put it. I'm going to put it on the green here. So I'm going to use just a little bit of warm white. I'm just going to stipple it into place very lightly. I'm going to dry it real quick, and then I'm going to show you something fun. Since I can, and we have time. So I dried that real quick. So we have, you know, a nice little snowflake tucked in there. So I'm going to put the stencil back on, and I'm going to grab some matte medium. Just a little bit on my stencil brush. And I'm going to just tap a little bit of that onto the snowflake. This is such a fun idea. So I now have a matte medium snowflake. I'm going to grab a little bit of, this is glamour dust. So while that matte medium is still wet, I'm just going to sprinkle a little glamour dust into it. And I'll open it up. And so we have a nice sparkly little snowflake instead of. So you don't have to have the little wooden snowflakes. You can use whatever you have on hand. I'm going to use a little bit of warm white paint. Like so. A little bit of a quick dry. Then I'm going to use a little bit of matte medium. Tap that into place like so. I'm going to remove my stencil and then sprinkle a little bit of glamour dust. So just an alternative. I mean, we all have a budget when it comes to doing a lot of this stuff. So if you have snowflakes, and if you've got little scrapbooking decorations, there is nothing to say that you have to use exactly what I used. I just think a lot of the times we're bombarded with, you have to have this, you have to have that. I am a firm believer that you don't have to have all of that stuff. It's nice to have it, and it's really cute to make it look exactly like, whatever the designer has done, but sometimes it's just not in the budget. So there's always an alternative. And I like it when there's alternatives. So a little bit of glamour dust goes a long way. Ta-da-da. So if you, like I said, if you don't have the little wooden ones, that's okay. You can always use the stenciled version. It works just as well. Still looks nice and festive. Plus you can add glitter. You can add glitter to the wooden ones too, but I really like the idea of being able to stencil those on there. They're a lot of fun. And it still gives you that little bit of sparkle. So how can that be a bad thing? So we've got our surface ready to go. I'm going to grab my, this, you can use the Identi-Pen, or you can use this, or you can use the gel pen. Any of these is going to work. I like my gel pen. So I'm just going to put a little stitch line on the warm white, like so. I kind of like the stitch line thing. It's a fun little detail to add. It works really well for this. So nice little stitch detail all along the edges of that warm white, like so. It's just a fun little detail. It's easy to do. And it just adds a little something something to this. Easy peasy. I remember years ago, stitch lines were on everything. Every country themed thing on the planet had little stitch lines on it. It was always so cute. And this is just a fun way to detail this. So there we go. Nifty little stitch line. And our teacup is done. So we can set this one aside because now we have to paint a cookie, and I've been looking forward to painting the cookie. So here's my cookie. I'm kind of obsessed with all things cookie lately. I don't know why. So this one is just a little 3.5 4-inch star. Any star shape will work just fine. It can be smaller, it can be larger. It doesn't matter. It's cute. The other thing that I used was one of these little holly leaf embellishments. You can get these almost anywhere. You can find them in scrapbook stores. You can use the little silk leaved ones. You can use a wooden one. You can use the little plastic buttons. They're all going to be cute. They're all going to be cute. So if you can't get your hands on these, you can use almost anything. So for the holly leaf, I based it with that same green that we used for the holly leaf in the cup, which is the lush green. And I'm going to use a small angled shader and a little bit of sap green, a little bit of plantation pine, and I'm just going to shade the base of the leaf down here with a little float of sap green, plantation pine, whatever. Just a darker green, whatever dark green you've got handy. And it's just a float at the base, keeping it really simple. And the highlight is, you guessed it, I'm just using a little bit of that neon green that we used for the other holly leaves. Just going to put a little float of that out at the tips of the leaf. Doesn't take much. Oops. I managed to pick up some plantation pine. There we go. So a little bit of that neon green out at the tips of the leaf. Look at that. It gives us a nice little pop. And I used that wild berry for the berries. They're too tiny really to shade them, but I am going to highlight them with a little dot of warm white. And then that mixture of the neon green that we used to add the veins and the strokes in on the others, I'm going to use to add a little vein on the center part of that holly. So now we have holly for our cookie. And now the fun part, painting this cookie. This little guy is super easy. I've done him before for a variety of things. He makes a really cute pin just by himself. So I'm going to shade the cookie with a little bit of asphaltum. The base color for this is raw sienna. And we're going to shade along the icing with a little bit of asphaltum. It's not a perfect float. I just want to keep the darkest value towards the icing. Just like that. So, a little bit of asphaltum gives us a nice little shadow on our cookie. Just makes it look like it's perfectly baked. Comme ça. There we are. And I'm going to use a little bit of warm white to give us a highlight on the edge of the cookie. And this is just a weak float. Just a little bit of that white to highlight in a few areas. It doesn't have to go everywhere. So there we have a nice little float at the edge of our cookie for a highlight. So we're going to shade underneath the white icing at the top with a little bit of wild berry. Now the base color for the icing is bubblegum pink. And I'm going to use wild berry to shade up underneath this icing, the white icing. Like so. I love this color, this wild berry. It's kind of been one of those, how come this one hasn't been in my arsenal before colors? So a little bit wild berry. Such a pretty and rich red. I floated some vintage pink with it the other day and it was just luscious. Such a pretty color. Ideal for shading vintage pink. Vintage pink is one of those colors that is just sort of, what do you do with it? It's beautiful pink. I'm not a pink person, but I have come to appreciate vintage pink. It is a nice, warm, grayed out tone, and it's just so, so pretty. And this is the perfect shading color for it, this wild berry. Such a pretty, pretty pink. So underneath the icing, we floated in with that wild berry. And I'm going to switch to a larger angled shader, go to a 1/2 inch, and we're going to shade the icing with this same color. But you're going to blend this one out quite well. You don't want it full strength. So we're going to be shading on the right side of the icing, right to the edge with that wild berry. And right there. And I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to do it again. Just to deepen it a little bit. So I'm going to come back in, deepen that pink just at that shaded side on the right. Because we want to give this icing a little bit of height. Just a little. And it's just such a pretty, pretty pink. And it also carries this color around quite nicely. So I'm going to take a little bit of warm white, and we're going to come in just a little from the edge, about 1/8 of an inch, and we're going to put a float of warm white like so. There and here, a little bit of warm white. It's not a strong highlight, so doesn't need to be harsh, but you are going to walk it out a little bit. So there it is. So we've got a very soft little highlight on there. I'm going to grab my number 2 rigger. I'm going to rinse the glitter out of it.
Yeah, I left for the glitter.
Welcome back, by the way. So we're going to add just a little bright highlight just in from the edge of that highlight that we just stroked on. It's just slightly in from the edge. And it's just a little stroke of warm white, which I promptly messed up. There we go.
Oh.
What?
Could you give me a shading color for Gentle Heather?
Gentle Heather is a great color. Just a second, I'll pull it out. That's Wisteria. Gentle Heather, more on the pink side of the purples. So, one of my favorite colors to shade it with is this one, Wild Orchid. It's a great shading color for Gentle Heather. It's a little more pinky than it is purple, and so it ties really nicely to that, and it's about 2 values darker. So it's an ideal shading color. So Gentle Heather, shading color is Wild Orchid.
Yeah. There's 2 things I fear in life: glitter and horses.
So our next thing to do is to shade that white icing that's at the top. And we're going to do that the same way we did the candies. We're going to carry over a little of that Prussian blue. And we are going to thin it out quite a bit because it is a very strong color. And we're going to shade the right side. So all the shadows are going to go to the right.
Horses, not ponies.
Full-grown horses.
Full-grown horses.
Yeah.
The bigger, the scarier. And go figure, we have Clydesdales out here.
And Clydesdales in the family.
Huh?
Yeah. Your grandfather's side of the family were horse breeders. They bred Clydesdales.
Oh. The headless horseman?
No.
The horse wasn't scary. It's just a corpse on top of a horse.
So, little Prussian blue to shade all of those little drips and runs. And it is heavily thinned. And then I'm going to come back in with a little bit of warm white, and we're going to highlight the opposite side just to clean things up and also to diffuse a little bit of that blue just to soften it. So there we are, little highlights. Just like that. Easy peasy. And then we're going to use a stroke of warm white or titanium white just for a little highlight. It can be a little heavier. There we go. It's surprisingly simple. So I'm going to dry this really well. And we're going to use a shape maker to give him some eyeballs. Just because he's cute. I think it's cute. Now I chose slightly bigger eyes, but you can choose whatever you like. I'm going to just position that. I'm going to use a small stencil brush. I'm going to stencil these in. You could base coat them in if you wanted to, but I don't want to. So I'm going to use this small stencil brush and a little bit of lamp black. Where is my black? Here it is. Don't forget that if you want to get in on those giveaways, you've got to like the stream, share it, hit the subscribe button, make a comment, get in the chat. Any one of those things will get you in. So I'm just going to use my shape maker to stencil on an eyeball. And I'll dry it.
Do 2 different sized eyeballs.
Okay.
Make them look drunk.
Okay. That rollers your hair back. Actually, I'm going to make them both the same size and a little closer together.
Make them cross-eyed.
There we go. Et voila. We have eyeballs. There's a imurgi or imurgai. It's a Japanese art form, and all these little characters have these. You know,
Okay.
it's food and the like. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a mouth. Just a little smiley face like so. Just because it's cute. And make sure these are really dry. We're going to add a highlight to the eyeballs. A little float of warm white. Just in from the edge. I like to have them in from the edge slightly. And then we're going to add just a dot for a final highlight. Find the right brush. There it is. Little eyeballs.
Did I miss a health report?
No.
What? No. I wasn't sick.
No, he was just having a flare.
Yeah.
Well, he was having a flare. A bad one.
Yeah.
So, just to the left of each eye, or to the right, sorry, I'm going to put a float of that wild berry. It's just going to lift his eyeballs off the surface a little bit. And I'm going to dry this really well. Renee's I'm going to do something with glitter, but under control, so you don't have to fret.
Run away!
Renee doesn't like glitter.
I don't like glitter.
So I'm going to use this Galaxy Glitter Varnish. I love this stuff. This stuff is like awesome. So I'm going to put a dollop in the middle of my piece. And I'm going to grab a brush that I don't particularly mind getting full of glitter. And I'm going to brush this all over the cookie. Comme ça. Neatness doesn't count for this. Perfection is to be avoided at all cost. I love Galaxy Glitter for a couple of reasons. One, or Galaxy Varnish, I should say, is one, it's going to protect this, but it already has the glitter in it, so the glitter doesn't shed. It stays on the piece. And I love the end result. It's yummy. It's a yummy glitter. If you want to expand on a little bit, you could sprinkle in a little glamour dust if you've got any kicking around. But I love this galaxy glitter, this galaxy varnish, because that glitter is so pretty. It's a holographic glitter they put in it. So it changes color as it moves. And look at that. And it dries quick. So look at that sparkle. It's just so pretty. Lots of glitter. And then I'm going to use a little dab of my favorite glue, which is this one. It's Aleene's Clear Tacky. I like this one. There's so many different glues on the market. This one I love because it dries crystal clear. So I'm going to put a little bit of clear tacky, and then I'm going to pop my holly onto my cookie. Now I have base coated my piece prior to this, and I glued the two pieces together. Now you can see. So I'm going to, this is how I clamp them so they stay put. They don't shift. Is just use these big buffalo clamps. It works like a hot damn. They're very handy for clamping things together. So I'm going to use a little bit of warm white and just clean up my edges a little bit.
Can I deal with glitter and varnish?
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I can deal with it.
Yeah, because it doesn't get everywhere. That's what bugs him about glitter.
It gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. You can't not get it everywhere.
That's why I'm worried about the glitter beard. It'll be in my beard.
It'll be in everything.
It'll be in my coffee.
Ugh. God forbid. Hi, Airy.
There's a little one down here?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, look at that.
She doesn't often come down here on her own.
Back up she goes.
Yeah. Something about this room spooks her. I'm not sure what it is. But so I've got a little bit of warm whites.
It's the glitter.
It's the glitter. Okay. And I'm going to dry this real quick. This is our stand. Now, if you wanted to, you could put glitter on this too. Just saying.
So, I know I was going to name my Malinois Snafu.
Yeah.
But I've come up with some really good names.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One is Lulu.
Lulu. Okay. Lulu's cute.
I think it's a good name. And the other one is Saoirse.
What?
Saoirse.
Oh, Saoirse.
Yeah.
That's a good name. In Celtic spelling?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one always throws people.
I know.
Like, how the hell do you pronounce that?
That's why I named Dot.
Yeah.
It was unique.
Yeah, it was different.
It was different.
Yeah, it wasn't Spot or Rover.
Yes. Spot. Dot. Or because she was female.
Yeah.
A typical female dog name. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even come up
Daisy.
with one. Daisy.
Yeah.
No.
So I've got a little piece of just a scrap of MDF. I'm going to glue that to the back of the star with a little bit of clear tacky. And then we're going to glue all of that, to our teacup. So when I glue this down, I'm going to put a little glue on the back of this. When I glue this down, Good gravy. There we go. I like to position it so that the edge of the cookie is on the edge of the saucer and the other edge of the cookie is on the stand. So that's what I'm aiming for, is right about there. And then just press it into place. And you're going to want to let it lay flat until it dries so that the cookie stays where you put it. Otherwise, it'll slide down, it'll do nasty things. So just sort of wanted this cookie to look like it was sitting on the edge of the saucer. So we're going to let that dry. And then when you're ready, you're going to use your glue, just a bead of it, in the slot on the stand. It doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit. So I'm going to hold that in place. And then the teacup shall just drop into that slot, like so. So this is what we're aiming for right here, is that.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! So I'm going to lay this flat on the edge of the table so that the stand dries and the cookie dries. And then next Saturday, we're going to be painting a series of these guys.
Newspaper Santa.
A newsprint Santa. So he's going to be just newsprint. Don't worry about going out and finding the newsprint because we've included it in the pattern. So you can just take the page right out of the pattern. It'll be scanned in, so you'll be able to use it. So we're going to be doing some fun things with that. We're going to change it up a little bit, varying the colors on the hat. This one, it's obviously done in a more traditional red, but we're going to show you a few other ideas as well. This is a lot of fun. It's going to be a max relax day. We're going to make some ornaments, have a few laughs, and of course, we've got some great giveaways for next Saturday as well. So that's our piece for today, is this one here, the peppermint tea and cookies. Such a fun piece. Such a fun piece. I love doing Christmas stuff. This little Santa guy is just, I think he's adorable. And he's going to be so much fun to paint. And I got some fun ideas for it. So, like I said, it's going to be simple. Again, you can use the stencil for the snowflake if you really want to. Of course, we have tons of those little snowflakes in. So we do have those available. I don't know how many we're going to have left of these, but if you're looking for the Santa, Deb Antonick is going to have them on her website at paintingwithdeb.com. So go and have a look over there. I had asked her to post them, so I don't know if they're up there yet, but they should be up there soon.
Yay.
Liz, I love my apron too. This was a gift. I love it. I have several skull aprons. I have a thing for skulls.
Douche.
And speaking of skulls,
What?
we're going to be doing a teacup in September for Halloween.
Oh, yes. The ginger dead man.
Yes, the ginger dead man. I think he's really cute. You guys are going to love it. He is a lot of fun. So, and I've got several little fun projects for Halloween coming up too, as well as for fall.
Edges.
What's that?
I hope you burnt the edges.
I did burn the edges. I
Yes,
know I
Sam.
did.
I'm excited for this one.
He's excited for this one. It's a little twisted, I'll tell you now, but you're going to love it. It's going to be a fun one.
There's like skulls everywhere in this studio.
Yes, there is. I like
There's
skulls.
There's one over there. There's one right here. There's a bunch on your...
Yeah, I have skulls up there too.
Yeah, skulls. Skulls are awesome.
I have skull shot glasses, skulls to hold all sorts of stuff. I like skulls. What can I say?
You ready to spin?
I am. I'm
Okay.
anxious to see who's going to be winning. So our giveaway today is a fun one. There's a stencil in it, of course. There's always a stencil in every giveaway. So we do have a stencil in there. We have a fun little thing tucked in for a giveaway as well. Because you know me, I like to make sure the little goodies get in there. And
It's the 19th.
yes. So we have fun little good. You can't remember what day it is. You didn't sleep that long. So the giveaways today are courtesy of Dynasty Brush and of course myself and Renee. So we have a gorgeous Dynasty Stencil Pro stencil brush in there, plus a Craftgasm bag that you can put your pens, your pencils, and whatever other fun goodies that you like to travel with for crafting and decorative painting. And then there's always some other little fun goodies that we tuck in there as well. So, are you going to hit the spin button? There it goes.
There it goes.
Finally, I'm watching it. There's such a lag on here that I'm just watching this thing twirl slowly.
Lee Hilton.
Awesome. Leah Hilton. And as always, just to help us out, I'd appreciate it if you just hit the message button, the little speech bubble on the first page of the website, lower right hand corner, and send us your shipping information so that we can get your goodies out to you as soon as possible.
Number 2. I can't see the chat right now, so.
I have been in major design mode the last few days. So there's a ton of new stuff coming up.
Kathy Baldwin.
Oh, right on, Miss Kathy. I haven't seen much of Kathy lately, so I keep an eye on the chat because there's so many names on there that I recognize and people that I do know. And I haven't seen Kathy's name pop up in a while. So that's nice to see. And there's a name I haven't seen before. Martina Secula. Welcome, Martina. Just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean you haven't been here. It just means I don't often get a chance to look down at it. Jessica Killeran.
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Jessica. Right in time for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Only she would have that kind of luck, right?
Yeah. Yes. It wouldn't be me.
No.
No. So next week, be prepared to paint some fun Santa Clauses. We're going to have a max relaxed time and just enjoy ourselves. The pattern will be up for you tomorrow afternoon.
And it's been
We're going to do some variations on this theme. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It is fun. The techniques are easy. And invite a friend. Come and paint with us. Now, the pattern always has the shape drawn out on it. So if you cannot get the shape locally or find it reasonably priced or reasonably shipped, feel free to cut them out of watercolor paper or heavy paper or foam core or whatever and just join us for an afternoon because they're fun to paint and they're really very easy. So you don't need a lot of tools for this. So come and join us next Saturday. We're going to have so much fun painting some fun little Santas.
Wow.
What's that?
That's a heck of a week for Jessica.
Why?
Won a prize. It's her birthday and has a grandbaby on the way.
Oh my goodness.
All in the same week.
All in the same week. A grandbaby on the way. She looks too young to be a grandmother. So she either has great genes or she's just a great looking grandma.
Renee, what 2 Saturdays is Tracy taking off?
I am gone the weekend of the 17th of September.
Okay, that's one.
And the other one, I believe, is the following weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's 2 weekends in a row that I'm not here, so.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah.
Calendar, there it is. So that would be the 16th and the 23rd.
16th and the 23rd. Yeah. Those are the 2 days that I am not here.
16th
But you will
and
have
the
video.
There will be a video.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, go and check out the voodoo doll. See my little voodoo doll pin? I did a little video on how to paint the ornaments and the pins with the voodoo dolls. And the free pattern is available for download on my website. So just go to the free download section. You can find it in there. If you're part of my membership group, it's in the members download section. You can go and check it out there. Includes a line drawing if you don't want to freehand it or use stencils and shape makers. So you can find that.
Uh-oh.
What?
You sure it's not the 9th and the 16th?
9th and 16th. Oh, yes. That's right, too. The 9th and the 16th.
We'll be back on the 23rd.
I'll be back on the 23rd.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Brain dead. Yes,
Thank you, Linda.
I'm doing a great Zoom class with a group of painters on the weekend of the 9th. And then on the 17th, I'm in Toronto teaching with the painters there. So I'm excited about that.
So those of you in the Toronto area,
Yeah.
come on down. I won't be there. I have to work.
He has to work, but I'm off to Toronto in a couple of weeks. So it'll be a fun weekend. I'm excited about that. We're painting a Santa Claus, a Christmas piece, and we're painting a marché aux fleurs summer flower market. That's what we're painting. So join me next Saturday live, as always, right here, either on my YouTube channel or on the Tracy Morrow Live Facebook page. We go live every Saturday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Next Saturday, we're painting Santa Claus. We're going to have some fun making some Christmas ornaments. It's a good chance to get a jump on your craft fair, craft market pieces. It's also a great time to get started on great pieces to give away to family and friends. So thanks, as always, for joining us, as you do every Saturday. And please be safe. Flu season is coming up, so don't forget to either get your shot or be careful. One of the two. So we love you. Stay safe, guys.
Pet your dog.